Yo, we here. Episode 8. Welcome to the Underdog Podcast with real eyes, real lives, real lives. And we got a special guest, a producer, 16-year-old producer, 4 times Grammy nominated. 5 names. What's going on, man? Blessings, brother, blessings. But yeah, man, we got a good episode coming today, man. Talk about a lot of these shifts in this world and everything we see. Anything that we see, we always gotta break down the surface of it. You know what I'm saying? Just based off our history. You gotta look beyond the surface because they make the surface look good, but the inside could be looking ugly. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Yo.
What it do? What it do?
What's good, brother? What's good, God?
Shit, man. Another day in the neighborhood, man. This is the Underdog Podcast, man. I am your host, man. Sly, a.k.a. Jock Calvin, a.k.a. God damn, that's deep. How y'all doing this evening, man? I said, what it is, man. Blessings to everybody out there, man. So
what? Episode 8. Know what I mean?
Episode 8.
Season 1.
Yes, sir. I'm over here trying to get the filters right. I'm about to send them kites.
Big facts.
Yeah,
what you
man,
say, bro? Consistency outbeats talent every time.
all day, every day, bro.
You see me? You see how I'm feeling? We jamming.
I see you, man. Had to go Super Saiyan on their ass real quick. But Yo, man, you told them about the special guest we got today?
Oh, yeah. Like I was saying, we got a 16-year-old, 4-time Grammy-nominated producer. He produced Praise God on Kanye West's new album, Donda. So, definitely ready for him to tap in, man. That's big to be 16 years old, too, at that.
16, that's big, bro. So, yeah, bro, the homie finna come through and drop the gems, man, and tell us about his journey, man. So I'm really looking forward to that, man, really. But before we get to that, bro, I gotta ask you a question, bro. But how you feel about that situation with Joe Biden, bro? How he done, basically just gave reparations to the LGBT community. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that they don't, deserve it or whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
I mean, when
we still haven't received nothing. And everybody else getting something but us. How you feel about that?
Well, I mean, obviously, bro, from history, whatever they want to say it, they always give everybody else something before they give indigenous people anything, bro. This government has never showed that they will give the indigenous people. When I say indigenous, it's like it goes way deep, but at the same time, it's like, how you call us to be a part of this land. And from the beginning of time, you got them giving out millions of acres of land to American people, but we not considered to be American at that time, Like it's a trail. It's a trail. I feel like it's just like a paper trail, bro. Just look at. I tell people it's like you look at the surface, but if you don't understand at that moment what's going on, it's like, all right, do a paper trail, go back. You got to know your history. If you don't know your history, it's gonna repeat itself. You got to go right back to the beginning. If you don't understand, you know what I mean? Like it's so much to be told, Like it's so much to uncover, bro. Like. People just gotta just look into it, dog. You just can't be living right now, not know yourself, and just go off what they tell you.
Type shit.
Because they gonna keep telling you. They keep telling you we equal.
Type shit. My thing is with the whole situation. When I first read that, that they got their reparations, I was like, whoa, how the fuck? Because they not even considered a nationality.
Right.
And that's the thing. I always told people, in our community, blacks and African Americans would never receive reparations. One of the reasons is because they're not considered a nationality. So, you know, for LGBT just to get, they just got into the picture like let's say what, 5, 10
Not
years
even
ago.
that long. Yeah, it's
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And they got reparations already. Like I said, bro, I ain't
For
saying they don't
what
deserve
though?
it.
That's what I'm saying. They
They
don't.
can
It
get
ain't
it.
like they don't deserve it. I mean, it's to each his own. You know what I mean? Like from the people's sexuality. What you doing your spare time and your personal time? That's on you. But to like, I mean, what really has happened? Nobody was beating on them like no Asians or you know what I'm saying. It was just more of a because they're living their truth. That's how the America kind of look at it. Like they wasn't able to live their truth without being judged. But it's like the whole time it's like, okay, but from what y'all tell us about our history, y'all done slaughtered and did everything to us, and we still ain't left with nothing, you know?
I feel you, bro. But like I was saying though, like I was just shocked because of that. That's how you know, right? These motherfuckers don't give a shit about us. I wasn't surprised.
Mm-mm.
I ain't gonna even hold you, bro. I laughed at it, bro. This whole shit is nothing but entertainment to me. I
Big
laugh at
facts,
this.
dog.
This is just a big ass stage. It's a show, and it's like
Yeah.
it's hilarious because our people are sitting back and just like getting upset about the fact that they really think that this government is going to help them get out of this. You know what I'm saying?
That part, bro, they come bail
It's
you out.
it's weird.
This like they
Yeah,
still
it's
got a little
weird.
faith, right? But this supposed to be our month, so you said, right? So this supposed to be our month. They're recycling everything they tell us, and when they tell us something, they only take what they want from the situation and give it to us. You know what I mean? Like, I never heard the extra, like, well, I probably did, but I never really looked deep into it. But like I say, the speech outside of what Martin Luther King stood for, you will realize why he got assassinated. They make it seem like it was just race, but the words he was speaking and the things he was talking about, bro, it's like, man, you would look and see why.
Yeah. He got assassinated because at first he was going along to get along type shit.
Yeah,
He was like their guinea pig. They used him to speak to get to us basically. And he
yeah,
was a part of all those, the Boulets. He was down for he used to hang with the Rothschilds. You see him pictures with the Rothschilds and the Jesuits and shit. Like they used him to get that.
yeah,
And by the time when he figured it out, and he was trying to, that's when he was trying to get the people to be like, hey, look, I made this big mistake. They knocked him out
right,
because he
right.
had influence. He had influence. Once you got
That's the
influence, look,
biggest thing, bro. You got
yeah.
influence. Just look at right now. You look at right. I mean, it didn't take that much back then for them. Like I say, all our people loved MLK. They marched. They stood by him. But then you got the same people that standing by him as enemies at the same time too. So it's like, for them to allow that assassination to happen, for them to sit there and say, hey, I moved out the way so he can get a clear shot. Like, come on. Now they going along and get along, bro. That's why they didn't, if he wasn't such a threat like that, they would let him live like Jesse Jackson, bro. He would have still been around. But like I
Yeah,
said,
because Jesse.
they take the piece of I have a dream and make that out of okay, MLK, throw that on them, put that on them, but they don't talk about the when he said we're being exiled in our own land and they gave out millions of acres and all type of stuff like that. Like they don't talk
You'll
about that
never
stuff, man.
you'll never find it quite weird how they give us our heroes.
Yeah, that
Like,
part.
who the fuck are you to give me a hero to look up to? Like, what the fuck?
That
You
part,
know,
bro.
we never choose our heroes. And then like to
Never.
the point, you know what I'm saying? And it's like people never looked at that as suspicious. Like it's weird. Think about this
Nobody.
scenario. In the next 10 years, Martin Luther King. No, okay. People are going to be celebrating George Floyd like Martin Luther King.
Check this out
Think
too,
about
right?
that.
I'm glad you said that because one thing I've heard about, like, say when they call justice served and stuff like that, they make it sound good. When they come up with these little acts like the one with Breonna Taylor and George Floyd,
Oh
people be
yeah,
clapping
yeah,
and rallying like,
yeah,
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 yo, they justice served. But then it's like,
yeah,
look into the actual act that was passed. You know, they don't look into
yeah,
the details of that, bro. They just look at the surface of it, dog. And it's like when you
yeah.
really look at that George Floyd act and all that type of stuff, bro, is crazy. You know, but they know, like, yeah, we could put the information out there, but they just gonna go off based on what we tell them. You know, so
Exactly.
it's like a run and tell that type thing. You know, they not gonna do the work. That's why they say back in the day, like, you want to put anything, like hide anything from a black man or black woman, put it in the book. You know, and a lot of people not doing it. So much like data is so easy to access now, to where it's like it's really no excuse to sit back here and look up these paintings they changed around, or look at these documents. Like, it's nothing being hidden out there, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you, but like when I hated school growing up, bro. I hated, going to it, learning. I hated everything about it because I had no interest in it. You know,
Right,
uh, you probably took interest in fucking PE, probably some shit like that, but I didn't give a fuck about school, right? It
right,
took me after I graduated school to realize that I always liked it learning. It was just the shit they was teaching us was bullshit
yeah,
because I
that
felt
part,
it in my soul. It was bullshit, right? So once I got into the world and I realized all that shit that they were supposed to, be teaching me in school and prepare me for the world, they ain't teach me shit because I had to teach myself about the world myself. Feel me?
yeah,
And when I
because
got
you
out
be
here, just
get out here,
learning,
bit,
bruh.
yeah,
Yeah, just
you'll
just
learn
just
and start
just
all over
just
again.
learning, just learning like who I am and who we were and what we really came from. That's the most exciting thing in the fucking world because just like you were saying earlier, if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going. If I
Yeah,
don't
that
know
part,
what took place with my ancestors, I don't know how to move forward and how should I say, treat other species and have other
yeah,
relationships with other species because
right.
they could have done
We don't even know how to treat
wrongdoings towards
ourselves,
my,
dog.
yeah, they probably did wrongdoings towards our species, but fast forward now, they portraying to be a friend towards us now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
That's the most craziest thing, bro. When you think about, like, personally, you and somebody else, bro, they done did dirt on you, they done did you wrong, and now they just extend their hand out to you and just act like that ain't never happened again, bro. That's exactly what it really is. Like, but they still got their hand behind their back with their fingers crossed on you. You know? I don't get it. I just look at it like, the average person can't believe a stranger on the street or gotta question them when they tell them something. Just a random person, bro. It's human instinct for them to be like, "Oh, let me verify this. Let me go check this." But when it comes to politicians, the media, they ain't gotta say nothing but say how they want to say it and the way it's presented to you because it's on a national platform. They ain't got people like hypnotized by that. If it comes from this, it must be right. Or if it comes from this person, oh, they on TV, it must be right. Oh, they on the radio, it must be right. It's just crazy, bro.
bro, check this thought out, bro. Since a kid, bro, I questioned my own fucking mama about shit, bro. My mama, the woman I came out of. Why the fuck shouldn't I question anybody else in this fucking world? I always ask my mama why, 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 why when I became an adult I stopped asking why. You know what I mean? And the reason being, a lot of us get with the program. That's why they put us in this 12-step boot camp, the school system, to teach you how to obey the rules of the system and how to be controlled and how to follow suit, how to go along and get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's the bullshit that we goddamn dealing with out here. Like I was always saying, bro, we was never the ones that voted for this system. Our parents wasn't.
No, they
They
they they told
parents
us to
wasn't.
do it. They tricked us into it, bro. Our ancestors into that, bro. Or gave them underhanded deals to where they locked in already type stuff, dog. Like
I
it's
just
tricks and
want to know.
trades.
I
They
just want to
still
know
tricking.
how the hell we supposed to be the most intelligent species on this planet, but we got to pay to live and eat. But yet we got animals that don't have to pay to live and eat. Animals. Think about that. We got to pay to live and eat. We got to pay for food that the planet naturally gives us. We got to pay for water
Hmm.
that the planet gives us. We got to pay for electricity that the natural planet gives. The planet gives us everything,
Yeah,
but we pay
yeah.
for it. We live in a system where you got to go to work 40 hours a week to pay your rent, to live in
But you
four square
think
walls.
about it. You say the system, bro. When I tell people, it's like, dog, I never really pay. I heard about them. You know, you hear about these familiar names and stuff, but you brush it out because they only tell you, oh yeah, they discovered oil, or they own no oil well, or they do this. But it's like, okay, Henry Ford, the damn Rockefeller, the Carnegies, like really look into them, bro. You start realizing how fucked up
JP
this shit
Morgan.
is,
Yeah,
bro.
you look into these
That's why
guys,
that's
bro.
people be asking questions, dog. Just like, bro, look at them, dog. Just don't even go off where they only give you snippets. They give you the last part, like, yeah, they own the oil thing. But what did they do before that? How did they set the system up, bro? Like it's all there. People just don't want to look. And when the truth starts spilling out and they start hearing too much of it, bro, they close their ears because it's too raw.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I told you, bro, this the year of the great split, man. The sun is finna separate
Yeah.
us, bro. Period. Whether you never heard this before and you think I ain't trying to spread no fear because I don't fear. I ain't trying to fear monger nobody. I'm just spreading information.
It's about
I don't
informing,
want you to
dog. Open.
and I don't want you to take our word for it. I want you to take these notes
Go
and go
look.
research for
Go
yourself.
look. Go look. It's up. It's all you gotta do is just
Yeah.
on the simplest level. Go look up these names that you heard when you was a kid and go figure out what they really was on, bro. They built it, bro. And then it's like to the point, like you say, like we don't if we don't know ourselves, we don't even know how to treat each other, bro. Like we're not treating each other like no kings and queens, bro. Everything is based off
Think
likeness.
about
We grew into their
it.
system, bro.
Think about it, bro. They set this system all right, but who the fuck is really carrying this system out? The people, the
Yeah,
folks,
yeah,
the
yeah.
programmers,
Go
the
along, get
computer
along with
programmers.
it.
You go along to get along with it. So
Without the
people
people,
like to
bro,
run
the
around.
system's nothing.
Our biggest opposition in this matrix will be the police, the government,
Right.
all that stuff. And that's not. It's not just like for carbonated people. I'm talking about the
Yeah,
people,
in
because
general, everybody.
everybody in general. Because at the end of the day, lower class white people, middle class whites, y'all in the same category as us.
Yep.
Y'all might get a little bit more. Y'all might get a little more from mommy and daddy,
Right.
but y'all in the
Right.
same shoes as us. Y'all got lied to just like we did.
Yeah. And it's just like,
Y'all.
I say it's not for me. I don't look at it all that race thing and stuff, all that shit, bro. I just be like, whatever. You treat me how you want to be treated. You get whatever size you looking for. But it's just like
I go on
on a
frequency.
larger scale, when we talking about our people, we trying to get more ourselves. It's like the people that's above them, bro. They not they like guppies, bro. They just playing along in the system that they created, bro. But it's just like it's the people that we're referring to are the ones that you don't see, the ones that's there that you don't even hear about like that. They're controlling the whole oil of everything, bro. Like, but they also training them guppies too. Like you say, it's a system. Everybody, if you want to go along with it, then hey, it's out there for you. But like you say, without the people, there is no system. They gotta follow that certain set of rules and beliefs that was put in that shit, bro, for it to
Yeah.
work.
So that's why when you get into certain upper echelons, they get you to join these cult like shit situations
Yeah, they know.
where you gotta pledge to be in it, and you probably got to do something embarrassing or something that you would never do on camera. So
Right.
if you will try to go against the cult ever, they got these embarrassing videos and photos of you doing some shit you would never do before. It's just embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? They can
Hold
scare
on,
a
my
lot of shit
hold on. I guess hitting me right now.
type shit. But yeah, man. It's just a lot of shit going on, man. Like I said, it's a great time to be alive, man. 'Cause we at a tipping point where it's a paradigm shift, and we are alive to be here to, you know,
bro,
move that shift. You know what I'm
bro.
saying? Create our own boundaries and our own
Oh,
rules.
there you go.
You
Hey
feel
man,
me? And that shit's great.
I don't want to cut you short,
That's
bro, but we
Nah,
had to
you know
talk
what you.
about something like that. But you know, we got a big underdog on the way. Okay,
Hey man,
then
I forgot this was
uh,
on Instagram Live, not on.
yeah,
Yeah,
nah,
my
my
bad, my
bad,
bad.
man.
Nah, it's all
Hey,
good. It's all good. That was my mistake.
hey, man, but welcome to the Underdog Podcast, man. We got Zen
Welcome, welcome.
Tachi.
uh,
Welcome, man.
yeah,
Blessings,
nice to meet you,
blessings.
man. Uh,
For sure, man. We appreciate you accepting the invitation to the podcast, man. Also, shout out DJ Decepticon for linking me with you.
yeah,
Um,
for
Yeah.
sure. That's my dog, man.
but man, hey, we gonna jump right into it. Like I say,
Okay.
we one of them platforms like many, bringing our people together, man, and putting positive vibes, positive energy out there. But
Right.
we gonna jump
Let's
right
go.
into it, man. So, who is Zen Tachi, and how did that name come about?
So just a quick backstory. Zen Tachi is kind of what I came up with as a title as a producer. So think of it like you know how you have a title name or anything of that sort. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
how I came up with Zen Tachi, right? And then I kind of went back and forth from like different names I had before. Because before I was like an actual musician, I was an artist. I made YouTube videos. I did a lot of different stuff. So I kind of went back and forth. But Zen Tachi kind of came from the actual name itself. Came from anime, actually. Um,
Oh man, I was thinking that in my head. I
yeah,
didn't want
yeah.
to cut you off.
The Tachi part from Itachi from Naruto, and the Zen part came from Zenpachi from
Right.
Bleach. So, like the name itself is like has nothing to do with my music, but I just like it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep it. So yeah, that's kind of how that came about, and I kind of stuck with it. I was gonna originally change it to something like maybe more professional, but to be
Right.
honest, there's no real professional title. Like, have you heard somebody
Nah,
produce
it's not.
Woman South Side? Come on.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
There's
but
no
it I think it's the person that makes the name grow onto people naturally.
yeah,
So, it's your unique name. Yeah, like you say, it might be
For real.
Southside 808 Beats, but it's the person behind the name that gives it that legendary aura.
yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
I definitely want to make the name more mythical and legend worthy for sure.
That's dope. So, man, what was the press like? What was the process like? Like me being an artist, I know that producing beats it requires like a lot of patience, and you have to be dedicated behind your work. Almost the same as if you engineer a song. Like you actually have to sit down and be like, be dedicated behind it and actually be
Yeah,
patient.
sure. Yeah. Um, the thing with like my process, I guess, is kind of like it's like I take a lot of time. I take a lot of time to account for like eras. Think of it like progressing on a skill. Let's say you want to be a good writer. Of course, you have your creative writing, but then you also have your objective writing. And then to actually progress as a writer, you take from inspiration, you keep writing, but you don't just keep doing it. You have to review yourself. Um, and then not only that, at least for me, I like to take into account progression as far as music technology because I mean, in this day and age, like we didn't have VSTs and DAW years ago. So, you know, trying to implement new technology in my workflow every other day or every month or things of that nature is kind of how I progress, not only as a musician, but also just stay creative. Because just
Right.
making beats or just making music every single day, at a certain point, you're going to get burnt out. And at least for me, I try to stay away from that habit because I sometimes I would overwork and I wouldn't get the result I wanted. It's like if
Right.
you were in like
Hell
a
yeah.
24 hours a day just working just to make like maybe $8 by the end of the day, you know? But
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of how my process usually goes. A lot of trial and error, a lot of
Right.
implement stuff. And, you know, it takes a lot of time, but it's worth it once you really like get into it.
Right.
So
Yeah, man. Oh, go ahead. Go.
what made you really like, you know, start pursuing producing and stuff? Like how much like influence music had you
Well,
do like
the thing with producing is, it was kind of a bit like, I might as well do it because my dad was a producer, mixer. He was super dope. He is super dope. It's just,
Okay.
he's like, he's old. So he makes like, think of it like as if he was like the Timberland, but of like
Right.
1970s. But he's super,
Oh man.
right.
he
But I
mixes a
know
lot.
that probably influences a lot of your sounds too. So
Yeah.
you take
Uh,
it and spin your, have your own spin or come up with your own, like,
well,
your original sound.
well, the thing with my dad is that I actually grew up wanting to be an artist rather than like a musician.
Okay.
And say artist, I mean like visual art. So, because I can draw and do art, and
Dope.
so I actually started out with art instead of music. Um, I think I was doing portraits of people. I would just be drawing, and that's kind of how I started off. But the music came about because it's actually kind of a funny story. It didn't actually come about because I wanted to do it at first. It actually kind of came about because I was trying to impress someone at school. It was really like surface level, like really. But the whole thing was like, I was trying to impress someone at school, and I kind of lied about being a producer because I was like, oh wait, you know, and
Yeah.
over the course of like 2 weeks, I learned about making music, the process of making music, how people do it, the DAW, and I started off on Mac, and I was like, you know what, it's actually kind of dope. I kind of like this, and I was in
Right.
a so there's music people all over the place. So I'm like, hey, you know what, this is kind of tight. I kind of mess with this, and then on top of that, all my sisters and a lot of my family does music already, so it kind of made it easier for me to want to get into music. But
So
yeah, I kind of started just trying to like, trying to like be cool, and it turned into an actual.
Right.
yeah, that's the process though, man. You gotta start. That's it.
Yeah,
If
you gotta
anything,
Yeah.
just gotta
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
On
So
everything.
what was Fruity Loops your first program you used or
yeah,
Right, right. I was saying
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So okay. So I flipped around a little bit, but FL was my first studio DAW. I still use it now, but it was like the only one I used for like the past 4 years. I'm like, kind of when I started it, since I looked up just making beats, it was showing me a bunch of like regular producer tutorials, and I'm like, oh, what are they using? And it's like, oh,
right,
it's studio. So I downloaded the demo, and then I started, making little beats and things of that nature, and kind of just finding my way around it. I kind of always been like a geek when it comes to actual like computer software and just computers in general. So I would go into like, oh, how can I tweak it? Can you hack this software? Like, can you crack this? So I
right.
kind of
Oh, he
getting more
taught
into it.
pirating.
That's when I started.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's when I started.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
I had to get the full
man.
version. I eventually
Yeah.
bought it, but at first I didn't have any money to
Nah,
get it.
I know exactly
But
what you mean. You gotta get it how
yeah,
you
Oh
live,
yeah.
man. Hey.
yeah,
On game.
that's fine. But now after I got the full version, I started getting more into like the workflow, getting VSTs, getting plugins. I'm to be honest, I'm a hoarder, so I have like hella sounds. Like
Nah, that's
probably
good.
probably as of now, I probably have like over like 10 terabytes of just pure sounds.
I'm
So it's
pretty sure you got some sounds
For
that's
real.
probably never gonna come across again.
this is my hard drive stack, you know. So I be
He ain't
stacking up.
playing right there.
Yeah, I'm not
SSD?
playing. Man. Nah, I be on it when it comes to like plugins and stuff, but sometimes I have to like take a
Yeah.
step back because having a million plugins is cool, but if you don't know how to use any of them, then it's like, you know, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Right.
I
Man.
So
started.
my next
Huh?
so my next question, I want to know, do you play any like instruments or
Well,
whatnot?
what instruments you play?
Yeah. So as a
Yeah.
um the instruments I play, I have a lot. I have a lot of instruments in my collection. Like I have like maybe 20 now, but the ones that
Oh
I
man.
play would be like, or the ones that I'm learning to play better would be like the guitar, the bass guitar,
So
the ukulele, the earth
That's
cue,
real dope.
and the flute, and clarinet, and the English flute. All three of those in the same category. Yeah. So mainly the flutes, the guitars, and the earth cue, which is basically a Japanese violin, but it's really weird in the way you play it.
yeah,
Basically violin.
Yeah, I know you talking about.
Mm.
Yeah. I
man.
played a little
So
drums myself when I was in middle school. Goddamn.
Yeah.
yeah,
I used to be in the band.
I really think like for anybody, like if you get those type of skills, like say middle school or so, the band it gives you a lot to where
For real.
you decide to do whatever music you're familiar with, sounds, keys, you
I get
got rhythm, you know,
well
like
here. That's interesting you say that because I never I was homeschooled, so I never had like a band or a music class. And I noticed there was someone that I was working with maybe like a year back. It was like one of my older mentors, and he used to be in a band. So I would always notice a lot of his patterns sounded very drumline like. Like even like some of his notation while he was making music, he would do this or like do something that was kind of in coordinates with like playing a drum set. So I noticed that like sometimes people get really influenced by what they do early on as far as their music, like whether they hear it like drums or whether they only like, you know, certain things in their music that I hear. So,
right,
but I never really had any of that. I grew up like I low key grew up without like music, if that makes sense, because um, I would always either have classical music on, or I wouldn't really be in a school or anywhere with any new music that was new at the time. So I would always
right,
listen to that was like 20 to 40 years older. So
Right.
I didn't really grow up with like like any particular bias towards a sound.
right. You just like all sounds pretty much like versatility. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I,
versatility is important, man, and
yeah.
more
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it is.
What were you saying?
Nah, I say it is. Versatility is
Yeah,
important.
no, it's important. I would say it's important even more so just because as someone who's a producer or a musician or a composer or whatever you want to call yourself, at the end of the day, you're making music. And the versatility comes in because maybe you meet someone that doesn't even know what hip hop is, you know,
Big
and
fact.
maybe they're like
Yeah.
some Indian musician or something. Just being able to connect with someone on a deeper level besides just talking to them about music or making your type of music or being able to, you know, being able to adapt to an environment that is different from your own music is important. Plus, me personally, I've always seen like music as like a universal language of storytelling. So if you can
Right.
Yeah, it is.
storytell, it doesn't matter what genre you're in. So, you know, versatility is super important.
Yeah, I feel like that's where the love for music really comes. Like if you know you want to basically test the elephant in the room, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well
Right.
we got this pop artist over here, we got this artist over here, and then you're only so used to the same cadences and beats, like it's
Yeah,
gonna
you're
be
always,
difficult at that part.
yeah, you're like, yeah, you're right. Yep.
So
And
man,
I
like
think
go ahead, finish off.
I was gonna say I think it's even more important because at a certain time you're gonna want to do something else. You know, like at 40, I don't think I'm gonna even want to do music the same way. You know, that's why I'm starting just being more versatile, being able to do whatever I like. Because for me,
Right.
I feel don't want to. I don't want to listen to one genre, for like the rest of my life. Like I don't want to be 50 and listening to, like an artist out right now. I'd rather be,
Right.
in my age. I want to go, and that means music as well.
Yeah, that's growth, man. So
Yeah, that sounds
we
complete.
gonna jump into it right now because we got a real underdog in this podcast. So you're being 16 and having so much experience under your belt right now, like four times four times Grammy nominated producer. Like you have other accolades under your belt at 16. How are you grasping this moment right now?
It's not really about grasping it. It's more so for me. It's been like, okay, that's cool, but more
Right.
so it's been about moving with my next steps and being able to create a foundation that is fair and secure. Because I think the most important part for me, as far as like my different careers or my different career goals, is having a foundation for it. Because if the foundation is like sponge, then the stairs are going to fall apart. So
Yeah.
I want to be
Exactly.
able to do something that is secure. And also, even with like my business or with being wealthy or just different goals that I have, I want to have that set up to where I don't have to always worry about something. I know that I have this set up, I got that set up, or I know doing this right or I'm doing this wrong. It's important to do that to grow. I don't want to be treated and think I'm just the
Yeah.
best person in the world. So yeah.
Right.
Man, you
So,
gotta
so, nah. So, my thing was like, how did like the industry start coming to effect? Like, as far as like your portfolio contains producer credit, you work with legendary Kanye, Gucci, Travis Scott, Keem, and Quentin Miller. Like, how was that, man?
You saying how was that, or how did I get into the industry? State your
Yeah,
question.
how did the
Like,
industry, come about? Like, are you getting these people that's reaching out to you, or just how did the process happen with that in general?
So with
right.
Because
that,
you do
kind of,
have that number 6 on Donda right now, the Praise God record. We got a little technical difficulties right now, y'all. But yeah, we got 4 times Grammy nominated producer right now, Zen Tachi, and he's back.
Getting glitched out by IG, man. It's that IG shit, man. But yeah, bro, it's just very inspirational, man. 16, moving like that, man.
Right. That's
Motivation, bro.
something
You
that
know what I
needs to
mean?
be heard, like
For real.
big facts.
It's big boy
See.
motivation. I'm sitting back just thinking about like when I was 16, like what the hell I was doing, man. I was out there
Right.
doing some crazy ass shit on the
That's why it's so interesting, man. I'm glad Decepticon Coalition DJ sent me that link, man,
yeah,
so we can kind of, put
tap
more
in.
vibes out there and show a
my
different.
bad, my bad,
Okay,
my
there it
bad.
is.
My
All
I
right,
was
Nah,
welcome
on
you
my
back to the
good.
Instagram.
Underdog Podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
man.
my
yeah,
bad.
we just basically saying like, how did the industry like come into effect? Like, like how was that process? Like I say, you're on the Donda record,
Yeah,
number 6, the Praise God record,
yeah.
4 times Grammy nominated, man. Like it's just, that's
So I
big at 16.
so okay. So the way I got like my foot into the door was actually via third party.
Right,
So before like I had any industry placements, no one really like I had connections to people in the studio I interned at, but no one really cared or knew who I was. And I kind of was like trying to make my way into like getting bigger placements. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but I didn't know anybody like at
right,
all. So my prior mentor, he rented a studio, and since I interned there, I was always there basically, whether it was like a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Thursday. And I think there was one day when I walked into the studio, and basically not walked into his studio, but I walked into the studio, and they were in the session. And I think one of my homies walked in there and played something. He said, "Hey, yo, go play them something, man. I think I think you'll get like a good connection off of it. I'm like, okay, cool, sure. And I knocked on the door, went in there, played some music, and they said, the gist of it was basically like, yeah, man, let's work. So basically from that, I kind of got into the industry just from sending him music, and he would send my music off. And through that, I got more experience with like, okay, crafting something for our artists, or maybe having to make something simpler. Maybe the artist can't handle too much, or just different things that would help me navigate through the industry a little easy. Send them a bunch of beats, which one, goes off.
Right.
Yeah, and that,
Yeah,
that kind of lasted for like a year or two. And then after that, now I'm kind of solo. So now, because of the accolades that I got from now, it makes it a bit easier for me to like go stuff or go and do this or do that, because having placements is good, but I think it's important like to have the foundation real quick so that or so that industry, no one is gonna bat an eye about your validity, because they're you have the accolades already. So now I can, because I already have other placements that are done, so now I can
Man.
If you see me one day with an Adele, it looks it doesn't look out of the ordinary.
Right. No, I could
Yeah.
definitely see you like just being versatile. Like I wouldn't like just say, okay, I expect him to be on this type of artist record because he makes only this type of beat. It's like you're not even boxing yourself in. And when you speak of like the foundation, man, you're 16. That's why I say this is an inspirational interview right now, because like I say, it's putting more energy out there, good energy, showing a different perspective for somebody being as young as you are, and you're building this foundation now. Like, I can see how focused you are, how determined you are. I can definitely see you, like you say, you have those placements, the accolades. Okay, you have them early on right now. As like I say, you're 16. So, like I say, with that being said, like, where do you see yourself at like 21? You're 16 right now, and you already have like more greatness to come behind you. It's almost like it's early on right now.
For sure. No, that's just, building the foundation, and even with the being versatile part, like I said before, it's important to do that, man. Plus, I mean, to be honest, there's so many different artists out there, man. Like, it's just, I can see why you wouldn't want to work with like an artist from India or something, or like a Egyptian artist. So, it sounds fun. So even if you don't really make too much money off of it, yeah, I mean, that happens. Maybe you're not going to have a platinum record with some random Indian artist. But I do still think it's important to have fun, because at the end of the day, like, this all matters until it doesn't. So I think it's important to make things last, work for you, rather than trying to build something it's going to crumble sooner or later, because nothing lasts forever.
Right, you're absolutely right. So like where all these like producer credits you got going on, right, on your portfolio, is it any like producers you collab with, and like is there like any live studio sessions or memorable moments you would like to share?
Live studio sessions, that would be dope, but not yet. I think what I want to do, and this hopefully, actually not even hopefully, but I want to make this happen probably this summer or this fall, is bringing all of my musician friends and homies to one big studio session and having just a live jam session. That would be dope. But as far as producers that I collaborate with, currently right now, not too many. I have a couple homies that I collaborate with sometimes, and we just kind of make music, not even to like get placement sometimes. Sometimes we're just chilling and having fun. So I don't always look, oh, we're coming here to collaborate on a pack to send to someone. Sometimes we make something that's super random, and you don't even want to send it because it's just funny. Or maybe we'll just, have a little fun in the studio. Yesterday, I flipped the ABC song, the alphabet song, into a drill beat. And this was just random stuff that... But yeah. But as far as prior that I've collaborated with, I've collaborated with a couple. Even the mentor that kind of got me in the door, I collaborated him mainly for the last like maybe year or two. But other than that, not really. I kind of other than like like maybe sending people like packs of things. Like, but sometimes I don't see that as collaborating, you know, unless we're like maybe they send something back or we're really thinking
Right.
of an idea. You know, because
Right.
sometimes people just apples, and you gotta just send them something. You know, they're not always looking to collaborate, so I don't take it too seriously though. Some people,
Right.
they don't know me, so I try not to be like, oh, rah rah rah.
Man. So like for what I just took from that, man, it sounds like, you really just truly just doing what you love and you enjoy doing it. You're not letting like, oh, I'm doing it because of this place and I'm making this beat for this. Like it's not like you're chasing anything. You're just letting everything come in organically. Like you just letting it just be, but
Yeah.
still staying focused on your work.
No, of course. But the thing isn't about trying to get to something. It's about having a balance. So even with like making music, you have like, and this is like mandatory. You have to have fun. That's not an optional. So for me, I try to keep myself out by having fun and not being too pressured to collaborate or to make a pack for somebody or not make a pack for somebody or go mess with that producer because he knows go do this or do that.
Right.
Like going to try things out, which is amazing, but I try not to have expectation or have too much focus on, if I get to this producer, I can get this placement, I can get that placement,
Right.
because too much of that is imbalanced, and that's not how you want to live your life, not at all.
Right. Yeah, man, I'm all for like things just falling in place. As long as I do
Yeah,
what I have to do and I'm taking care, like
yeah,
I'm doing what I love and everything, whatever comes behind it, I understand the process because I was already
Right.
working, you know?
But even then, it's not even about like letting things land in place because of course that happens,
Right,
but it's like it's basically more about like creating an environment to where you will get everything that you want because you like almost like you pre-worked for it, but you haven't overworked yourself. Like
right,
you never want to, but the thing is you could still have things like make sure things are happen for you without them having like letting it be up to whatever or the universe, if that makes sense. So like even let's say maybe you want like a Michael Jackson placement or an Adele placement, instead of trying to work to get to them, maybe like a better decision would be to have them come to you or be good enough where people come to you naturally or those type of people. So that's how I think
right,
about it. Like, because I've always felt myself like chasing placements a lot. And I felt like at some point I want to be good enough to where
that part,
really, after that, it's
exactly.
like, that's
right, that
being the
part.
number one producer, like, kind of, there's no real choice. Like Kanye, you kind of have to work with me,
Yeah,
know?
man. With that being said,
But
is that what Zen
that's
Tachi,
kind of
is
how I think about it.
say like, with that Kanye reference, is that where, you kind of see yourself later down the line where it's like I've been
What?
working towards this,
Moving
and
towards
it's
what?
just like, no, I mean like far as with your work and everything, like do you see yourself in that yay type of position, but doing it, your way when you're doing everything how you kind of want to control it, where you're like
Uh,
you're in control of everything around you, where nobody can't tell you, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. Like you're just doing it how you want to do it.
Yeah,
I think down the road, I feel like I see myself more so, yeah, in the position of Kanye, but I think more so with less overhead, because I realize that to a certain extent, there's always something that controls you. So
Right,
whether it be the label signed to, the money that you're chasing, or the cycle that you're stuck in, the addiction that you have, there's always something above you. Not saying that they're
right,
superior to you, but control over you. So I feel like it's important as a person for me to work towards being free Because right now I don't feel like I'm free.
That part. That part. That's exactly what it's about. You know, like you say, being free, being able to,
Type
decide
stuff.
like, hey, I want to do this, and I don't have anybody coming to verify anything or have to give me permission. You know.
Right.
And
So, hey, with that
so
being,
I even no no
Nah,
go
go
ahead
ahead.
with
Never
that,
mind. No, I was
with
gonna
that being
say
said, I just wanted to know personally because I'm an artist, and I just want to
uh,
know like how did you like what was your first like music placement, and how did you feel when you landed
uh
that placement?
so it's actually my first placement actually was the Kanye one. I think yeah, it was the
Okay.
Kanye one. Then it was, but the reason that I wasn't paying attention to that because I was like, there's no way Kanye's ever gonna release this. Like
Right.
this is never coming out.
It's
I
Right.
like
just
how you
assumed
said
that
Soldier
like
Blood. You got a
in the
placement
wind,
before
just
Soldier Blood.
it's not. Yeah, like I got a placement before everything else, so I'm like, that's not coming out. But after like I think it kind of hit me more so when I heard of Donda, and then I heard first listening party when I heard it, and like I heard the song, and I was like, wait, no way, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, and I was
Yeah.
like, yo, that's.
Right.
But you said what?
No,
It's,
I was just agreeing. I thought that was real cool. You said with
Oh, okay.
Donda at the
I thought you,
yeah. I feel like
but yeah,
greatness
that's kind of
recognize greatness though, man. That's really what it boils down to too. I feel like, with a mind frame where Ye at and, knowing his
mm,
career and everything, it's just like this man is not making no decision when he don't feel like nothing's gonna be great, you know.
right.
Like I mean, I feel like
yeah.
all of us kind of look at it, we going in with our best, mind frame
But
to
yeah,
have greatness come
exactly.
from the situation, you know.
No, for sure. I think that's important with everything you do to, to become great, whether you're bad at it or not, to become great, even
Yeah.
internally. And recognizing like your mistakes or your wins or your failures, it's all important, man.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
man. But last but not least, before we get you out here, and Instagram just randomly shuts us off. Like,
Right.
what does
For real.
being an underdog mean to you, or when you
Question?
hear the word underdog? Can you hear me? Yeah.
You said
I was saying, what does being an underdog mean to you, or when you hear the word underdog?
well, for me, when I hear the word underdog, it just sounds like someone is facing great adversity, I would say. And at least me
Right.
being the underdog, I mean, there's different oh, there's situations where I could see that, but overall, me being an underdog would be more so like me having to go against, and not even go against, but just having to face, you know, people that maybe don't want to see me be great, or labels, or just the world in general. But I wouldn't say being an underdog is more so about having to go and fight something all the time, but more so like being able to achieve what you feel like is closest to your truest, if that makes sense. So like let's say I'm the underdog, right? For me, it would be more so about being able to achieve what I want to achieve, not really letting anything deter my path, because
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
as it's like there's so many you can get caught up in, whether it's externally or internally. So being an underdog is like being able to fight through that. And I think probably the most important part is having the strength or the will to go and train and go and get better. Because you can wish that things are easier, but they're not. So I guess it's
Hmm.
just, for me, it would just be more about, you know, gathering that strength to go compete with that big dog and, you know, and win, whether I lose or not. Because me personally, I feel like always like, oh my God, I lost, it's over, you know? Because you have to lose to win, whether you think losing is a
Right.
big event or
Exactly. You have
or
to.
whatever you think it is, you know?
I like how you put
So
that, man.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
But
bud. I
when
love
I
it.
hear the word.
yeah, man. I mean, I definitely like how you went and said, internally and externally, because both of those play a
Yeah.
big factor, in a
Major.
person's life,
Yeah.
man. It's like you got to be balanced. And if you're not right
Exactly.
internally, everything that you put out is not going to be great as you want it to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everything
Yep.
around
Yeah,
you
yeah.
is internal, whatever situation you're in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I try to take that into
Yeah.
account
So
whenever I'm in a bad situation or a situation I don't feel pleased with.
yeah.
So
So with that even being said, man, before we even let you go, man, we love just to give you your flowers, man. Like we said earlier, man, you 16, man. You got a good head on your shoulders. I love your drive, your ambition as,
Appreciate
you continue this journey, you know what I mean, and continue growing, man. You know what I mean? We
yeah,
need more
it.
young brothers out here just like you, man.
Mm.
Just keep motivating.
definitely, man. I say looking
Yeah, for
forward to
sure.
everything that you got coming soon, man. Everything that you're working on, man. Just continue to stay focused. It already seems like you
Mm.
already figured out who you are as a person and
Exactly.
figured yourself out internally. That's what a lot of problems is with our. But we're everybody's kind of coming back together right now. But this is
Mm.
the reason why we have platforms like this, is just to inform, inspire, put out good positive vibes, and keep the frequency high, man.
Yeah, for sure. And just the last thing I'll say is like,
Yeah.
even with like people internally as a person, you know, like nothing is linear. Nothing is, when you think of yourself as a person, think of it as something that's modular rather than an end. Because when you don't find yourself or you don't see who you are, you create that, you know? And even more so, you change. So that's important. Whether you think, oh, I want to be this type of person or I want to be this type of person, never think of it as an end goal. I'm trying to be this person. You're always going to change. So I think the most important part is to see where you're changing to in each state, and then trying to become just one thing, or this is my
Right.
personality. You know, this is the extent of, and that's important with everybody. You know, especially the older you get, because you'll realize
Definitely,
losing
man.
time, realize what you missed by trying to become one thing.
Big facts,
Definitely.
man. I say,
But yeah,
man, we
that's all.
appreciate you taking your time out, man, accepting our invitation to the Underdog Podcast. We are literally up under 1 minute. Thank you to everybody that tuned in to the Underdog Podcast. Remember, this is the most known unknown, and real
Yeah,
eyes
realize,
realize real lives.
realize. Hey, that
Yeah,
underdog EP is dropping soon. 22222. You know what I'm saying? Look forward to it. Me and my guy T Lee up there, man. We are dropping this shit, bro. Balanced tape. Y'all gonna love this.
I
O'Shea.
appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Zen Tachi, man. Keep doing your greatness, man.
Keep going. For sure, for sure.
All right, we gone.
Gone. Love.